blaze the path.
Hello, I'm Derrick Terry, host of I'm Not Complaining, I'm Just Saying. Here at one of my favorite spots, the barbershop, where we know if you're gonna complain here, then you better provide solutions.
Good.
It's good. I firmly believe when we make other people's problems part of our conversations without providing solutions or prayer, then we become part of the problem. I want to be able to provide people with a platform where they can freely express their views on such topics as education, social issues, health and fitness. And that's good. Or sports. So please join me so we can complain and provide solutions together. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Derrick Terry, host of I'm Not Complaining, I'm Just Saying, where on this show, if you're gonna complain, bring solutions. Today's official sponsor is NAS Auto Sales, specializing in auto body mechanics, mechanical repair and towing, and is located at 17412 Livingston Road, Accokeek, Maryland. Now, before I get started, let me go over a few housekeeping rules, okay? This is a radio show. This is not a TV show, so there will be some reading on here. I don't have a teleprompter. So for those who are not, you're seeing this for the first time, don't look at it like your traditional TV show. It's actually a radio show, but I want to make sure that I stay on script. So it's kind of what they do behind the scenes, but we're putting it out here for you per WBGR Entertainment Network. So the views that are expressed today are solely mine, not of WBGR, Facebook, or my sponsors. If you're going to call or respond via Facebook, we will always keep it civil and treat each other with respect. We will always try to stay on topic, as well as get away from the name calling. I don't really get into that, unless it's focused on a particular issue. If you're going to be a keyboard bully, I suggest you start your own show, and you can call WBGR at 301-429-9247, and you can definitely get one started. So, what am I going to complain about today? I'm going to talk about political black slates. I'm going to talk about I don't need to hear from you because your vote does not matter, candidates or incumbents. Possible misuse or abuse of taxpayer funds, as well as social media so-called unity groups. So, it is no secret that I am a Democrat. However, I may not agree with, I guess, the necessary platforms of what some, whether it's Republican, independent, whatever political affiliation you are, but I will respect your views. When I vote, I look for the most qualified candidate that addresses my issues and my concerns. I don't look for, and this is a new words I created, I don't look for the most quali black, quali white, quali woman, quali man, quali hetero or homosexual, quali Christian or Muslim, or whatever. I don't look for the whatever, quali whatever. I look for the most qualified. During Charles County's last primary, I was a little disturbed that quite a few of my fellow Democratic candidates or Democrats promoted a black slate / black woman slate. I see some of these same Marcus Garvey, pre-Mecca Malcolm X, Angela Davis, with their fists raised up, that were literally going door to door, pleading to black folks like myself to vote black and to vote black women. But all of a sudden this changed during the general election, as we get to the general election, when it comes to, I want unity now, boss. That's really the mindset we have now because of the general election. Hence, your white votes now matter. But the same can be said for Republicans where now the black votes matter. But what stirs me most about some of my fellow Democrats is that if you're going to promote a black slate, damn it, own it. Don't go behind closed doors and all of a sudden you come out into the public and you act like it didn't happen. Own it. If you're going to promote a all-white slate, own it. If you're going to promote an all-woman slate, own it. Whatever slate you want to promote, but own it. Stop pulling the okie doke on our voters and talking about how now unity matters. Because it didn't matter during the primary. My point, people, educate yourself on the issues and the candidates. Because if you don't like the message, then change it. Be right back.
We are the Arnold House, and we established in September of 2015. One of the first programs we started is called Sunday Dinners. Sunday Dinners is an event that the community came together and would bring meals to our home, and we would divide them up and take them out into the community. It's also a nice event where everyone was able to go out and to serve and to spend time with those who needed or who enjoyed our meals. The backpack program is an event where we send food home for children who would not necessarily have something to eat when school doors are closed. In 2015, we started with 106 children in 3 schools. Currently, we are up to 763 children a week, servicing 19 schools. This is a great event because the community comes together to help ensure that these children have something to eat. Our next program is our Ladles of Love Soup Kitchen, which takes place every Wednesday night from 5 to 7. It's a great time. Again, the community comes together, we sit down and we have a meal, and we share good times. If anyone has any questions or would like to help in any way at any one of these events, we ask that you give us a call Tuesday through Saturday from 10 to 3, and our number is 301-932-8555. Thank you.
And welcome back. Before I go into my second complaint, some of you may have noticed Alabama. I'm from Alabama, Roll Tide, so I should be right now looking at the football game, but I'm almost certain that they're doing well, so hopefully some of my friends will text me, let me know what the score is. But anyways, let me move on. I've been trying for a couple years to find a very simple answer to a very simple question from Prince George's County Public Schools. Since 2014, where it resurfaced in 2018. How's an elected official from Charles County able to work as a full-time teacher in Prince George's County while working part-time as an elected official in another county? Per Prince George's County's Education Association and the Board of Education's Prince George's County agreement from July 2017 to June 2019. I want you to hear the elected official's response.
How you doing? This is Derrick, call from Waldorf, Mass.
Hello, Derrick. You have a question for Miss Amanda?
Yes, I do, because I don't get an opportunity to get a response, but maybe I get one now. I've been teaching for 18 years, and as also the union rep. So what I'm curious to find out is how a teacher in Prince George's County can work during contract hours. And I don't know of any other teacher that can do that in Prince George's County. I know for a fact in Virginia I can't do it. So I'm guessing that Maryland has some new laws, new provisions that allow for this. And if they do, can you at least point me to the source or where it's stated in your teacher's contract where you're able to do this, whether sick leave, personal leave, or leave without pay, to basically what we call in the military double dipping. Because we can do that in the military. We have an exemption to do that. I'm just curious how it's done.
Well, thank you for the question. I am very blessed to have an employer that values my service. I do remember one time someone said to me that we would prefer to have you 80% of the time than no percent of the time, and they really believe in public service. One of the things, Tasha, that I found very interesting, and I loved getting to know some of the elected officials in Prince George's County. Several of the elected officials in Prince George's County, some now and even retired, they were teachers. And so they were even allowed to give back and still work for a time. It's just a great agreement that I have with my employer, which I'm very fortunate.
Now, based on what you've heard and what I've received from Prince George's County Public Schools attorney in my Maryland Public Information Act request, an employee who chooses an approved leave, and I'm going to read through this kind of lengthy because I want to make sure that if there's any Prince George's County teachers out there, and better yet, any Prince George's County taxpayers, that you are aware of this. The chooses approved leave, such as annual for political campaign purposes, may do so without indicating the leave is being taken for this reason. If this is true, it seems to contradict the following statement from the agreed upon contract. Teaching and other leaves of any Unit 1 member on tenure covered by this agreement may, upon written request to the CEO or designee, be granted an unpaid leave not to exceed 1 year for the following reasons: prolonged illness, needed rest, professional improvement, sabbatical leave, public office or political campaign, for any other activity which, in the opinion of the CEO, redounds to the future benefit of Prince George's County Public Schools. So my question is, how does a Charles County elected official benefit to Prince George's County Public Schools? Have you received any of our tax dollars? I just want to know. Has any special treatment or favors been given? I want to know if Prince George's County taxpayers are okay with, and this is according to the Maryland Independent, claim it's a science teacher. Now the rest of it is me, missing approximately 32 to 36 days of work per year. Now, for those who don't understand how our government works, the working sessions for the commissioners were once a week back in 2014, I believe. Or maybe, sorry, twice a week. Then they voted to make it once a week. Then now it's once every other week. So I'm assuming with the next set of commissioners that they will, because we paying you, and I expect you to, if you're going to work part-time, to me part-time is at least 2-3 days a week, not 1 day a week. I don't care what you do after hours. I'm talking about while you're on the clock. So I expect you at least work 2 days a week. So if you do the math, and I teach math, so if you do the math, we're in school about 9 months, 9-week quarters. Give or take, we'll say 68, 72 days of work that are supposed to be provided for instruction for a state test that this particular candidate will not be in class because they'll be serving Charles County. Now imagine how Charles County citizens feel paying this elected official almost $50,000 a year, maybe 49 some change with the raise, for a part-time job, work 1 day every other week. Look, I don't hate the hustle, but I would love for every educator to be able to take leave and work a part-time gig during contract hours. To me, I encourage all of Prince George's County public teachers to contact your local officials to see why this practice is acceptable and for the selected few, but not the masses. My last complaint, I will keep it short and sweet. There are a lot of social media groups posing as an open dialogue of diversity. But simply, this is not what they seem to be. I want you to take a look at a particular group's mission statement. See if they can pop it up for me. It goes under break 4, so it's radio, so it's good. So we take a discussing topics. Uh-oh, that's the wrong thing. It's radio. That's not it. That's not it. It's okay. It's the one that says mission statement. If it's not on there, then don't worry about it. I'll just read it through. But I thought I put it on there. If not, then my apologies. So, but as that comes about, I'll just go ahead and read it. This group was created as an open forum for residents of Charles County to share information, discuss topics that impact our communities, and announce public meetings and related activities in common interests. Everyone is invited and encouraged to participate in this group. Topics can range in nature, but should be about activities within the county, surrounding communities, or matters that generally benefit the group members. As with any group, basically individuals have different views and opinions. While we openly disagree, we must do so. And my sheet got cut off, but for the most part, what it's saying is that you need to be respectful. You need to stay away from obscene language, racial threats, and personal attacks. All this would be fine and dandy if, and like I said, if the administrators adhere to the same policy in which they have on here. And this is not the only group that does that. I've seen a couple other groups that do that. And my thing is it's like this. If you're an administrator of a group and you know that people do this and you allow it because they do not agree with you, then you're part of the problem. And when you promote yourself as, I guess, a social media outlet to where you promote things, whether positive, informative, whatever it may be, those pages have the ability to divide and unite people. One of the administrators said it's ridiculous that a social media page, or maybe even a post, would divide people. You must have forgotten about the Mayor La Plata and the Kaepernick Nike incident. You must also have forgotten about the scrutiny that Facebook is under by Congress to look at some of these hate groups. So to say that it's ridiculous means that you're not well informed of exactly what's going on when it comes to social media and being an administrator of a page that's supposed to bring about diversity and an open dialogue. So this is my point. If you want to bring about unity first, stop dividing. I'll be right back after this break. I have a guest come on. One of my guests canceled, but I was able to get another guest. So what? I want to make sure I read his bio right. Teddy the Taxman will be in his 38th year in practice. He's been invited as a guest on WBGR, Fox 45 Morning News for about 2 decades, giving retirement and tax advice to millions of households. So he's been invited to Howard University's WHUR radio station for many years, offered solid financial advice to the masses, and he specializes in rolling over retirements and starting small business for starters. So one reason why, and I was so fortunate to get this guest, he was actually scheduled for November, but I definitely take him now, is that as we go into the end of the calendar year, there's some very, very important tax information, retirement information that I think will be beneficial to our viewers. So we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be back, and hopefully I may actually have him call in a little bit sooner, but we definitely will be right back after this break. Okay, welcome back. And as I wait my guest to call in, and I told him to call at 1, so he probably going to call at 1. I have not had an opportunity to check to see if I had any questions or if anyone wanted to chime in real quick. You can at 301-429-9247, but keep in mind that I probably have time for one more call. So as I wait for my guest to call in, a couple things that I want to talk about for the November show. I plan on bringing on a good friend of mine who's going to talk about mental health. Also, we're right around November, going into Christmas. So those are times where, unfortunately, we have people that are less fortunate 365 days out of the year. And it seems when we get around November and the December time frame is when we, I guess, have an open heart. So, I always stress to have an open heart every day. And but November show is definitely going to focus on charitable organizations. And if you look typically at the breaks that I put on, most of the promos that I put on, I actually air those for free for nonprofits that are doing good things in the community, and I want to promote them as much as I can. So if you're a nonprofit out there and you want to be promoted with an ad or anything like that, please let me know, and I would definitely do my best to fit you in during the show. So like I said, as I wait my guest, we're going to go to another break. So I definitely want to, if we could, replay the Arnold House. It's the Light the Way Foundation from the second break, and we can replay that. So for those who missed it the first time, and we'll be right back after this break. Welcome back. So, my caller should be, I just told him to call in, so he should be calling in, I'm sorry, not the caller, but my guest, which is Teddy the Taxman. And like I said, Teddy Taxman has been in the retirement and the tax business well over 20 some odd years, maybe 30. And he is going to give the viewers, as probably well as myself. Oh, he's on? Okay, so hold on for 1 second. Hope I hit line 1. Where the speaker at? There we go. Okay. Teddy, you on?
Of course I am.
Okay. So hold on 1 second before I reintroduce you. So like I said, what Teddy's going to provide to us is some things that I feel would be beneficial to you as we end this tax year and we roll into the next year. So with that, I'm going to let Teddy the Taxman reintroduce himself and give us a brief overview of what you do and who you are. And welcome, Teddy.
Yes, sir. I thank you. And once again, you are up to good. People normally say you're up to no good. Yeah, you're up to good. I got to pat you on your back because I don't think you get that often enough. Hey, listeners, how in the world are you? Yep. This is Teddy the Taxman. I am the same Teddy the I've seen for, I don't know, the last 2 decades. Loving what I do, I'm offering retirements and tax advice to the masses. I'm in my 38th year of practice. Again, love what I do, and not only can you see me on Fox 45 Morning News, but you can also hear me on Howard University Radio, WHUR, on a very, very regular basis throughout the day, informing the masses. That's what I do.
All right, but Teddy, you know me. I believe in this. Straight getting to it. What are at least 3 things that, as taxpayers or even anybody who's looking to retire, we should know right now that most people are probably unaware of?
Yeah, one of the things that most people are unaware of is that the tax laws have changed in a major way. Okay, so yeah, maybe you do know that, but here is some specific advice I want to give our listeners. Number 1, please make sure that you take advantage of your company's 401k plan. Please do that. Let me tell you the practical part of this. If you contribute to your company's 401k plan, you do it consistently throughout your work life, guess what? You will be prepared to retire when you are ready to retire. Furthermore, when you contribute to your company's retirement plan, 401k plan, don't you realize that for every dollar you contribute, you're knocking off your tax liability? You're knocking off your federal tax liability, your state tax liability, and since you live in Maryland, your local tax liability. So in addition to putting away monies for your future, you've got those 3. So you've got 4 reasons that I just gave you, 4 reasons to contribute to your 401k plan.
Now,
That's
Teddy,
what I tell everybody.
Now, Teddy, I got to quit. I'm just playing devil's advocate. Let's say, you know what? I need to get some new shoes. I'm looking to get this car. I'm looking to do all this other stuff with my money, and I can't right now contribute as much as I want to my 401k.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say to, I guess, those listeners that look? I got to get these objects, these material. I wouldn't say material things, but more of wants versus needs, where they're not necessarily looking at the long term.
You know what? That's what everybody loves about you, man. You think for the masses, because I get that question. I get that question all the time. How in the world can I do that when I've got these living expenses, those living expenses? This is what I want you to say to yourself. I'm always going to have those living expenses. Now, maybe I oversimplified that, but I want you to think for just a few seconds. You are always going to have those expenses. You're always going to have a gas and electric bill. You're always going to need clothing. You're always going to need food. Yep, I understand that. But will you always need to go to the movies every week? Will you always need to go to the baseball game every week? Will you always need to go to the basketball game every week? Sounds like to me you have to begin to prioritize. Here's another one that I hear. Well, I don't contribute to my 401k plan just yet, but I'm going to start as soon as I pay off my bills.
Okay. Now,
I can show you many people who 16, 17, 18, 20 years later still haven't paid off those bills.
Okay, now, kind of jump ship, but kind of try to tie it into what you do. I think the recent unemployment rates came out, and I believe it's 3.7%, one of the lowest since, I guess, 69. Now, with that, of course, people say, you know what, the economy's doing great. But how does the underemployed affect the unemployed when it comes to companies putting forth retirement plans? Are they, what's the word I'm looking for? Are they more likely to even open up a 401k if the unemployment rate is so low? That means that now they got more people working, and that means they have to match these funds.
No, okay, you don't want to tie those two in. You really don't want to tie those two in, because every person at every level And people can chuckle if they want, but every person at every level can afford to contribute to the 401k. Wait a minute, and before our listeners respond, let me tell you why. Because we all have, let's say 96, 97% of us have fat in our budget. How many times do we go to McDonald's every week? You know, how many times do we hit the mall every week? I'm kind of sort of saying pretty much the same thing I said when I opened up. It's a matter of prioritizing. And some people at the age of 22, 23, 25, 30 still don't see retirement as a priority because it's so far off. Oh my goodness! I'm going to be in the work environment or in the work world for another 30 years. Why do I have to worry about that? I can show you many examples. You have to understand. I've been in practice for 38 years. 38 years. And I've seen it. I've seen people who make $500,000 a year not contributing, and obviously I've seen the people who make $20,000 a year not contributing. So really, it's tough. It's really, really difficult. It's almost impossible to tie in those two. What you need to do is think for yourself. And I'm talking to our listeners. Think for yourself. Don't worry about statistics or anything like that, because guess what? Who's going to compare? Who's going to care about statistics when you turn 67 years old and you have $10,000 in your 401k?
Okay, so I have one more question before we go to break that I'd like you to answer. And this, we talked about the 401k, and you know me, I'm always thinking about the masses.
Yep.
So that's solely, if you think about it, for the individual. But now you have kids who you would hope you want them to go to college. What is some great advice you can give those who either have kids right now or want to have kids, and what they can start doing on top of their 401k to prepare their kids either for college or to prepare them for, whatever they may do if it's not college?
All right. I have 3 words for you. 5, 2, 9. That is a 529, a 529 plan. It's the college plan that you can set up for your loved ones so that when your loved ones get of age and they begin to go to, and I'm glad you said this, not only college, but technical school. Anything that is post-secondary, and I hate to use that term, but I think that kind of sums it up. Anything that is subsequent to high school, you can use those monies in the 529 plan, pay for your college tuition, your technical school tuition, whatever have you, and guess what? All the time that you have that 529 plan, check this out. The money, the savings, the earnings rather, are tax deferred. If you use those monies for tuition, it's tax free. So all these years, that money gets to grow without you having to pay taxes on, and even when you use those funds, not taxable.
Okay, so we're going to take a quick break, and like I told everyone, I tried to promote nonprofit or just businesses or whatever that are doing a lot of good things in the community. So for those who had missed the advertisement before or the promo before, I want you to take a look again at Arnold House, and we'll be right back after this break.
We are the Arnold House, and we established in September of 2015. One of the first programs we started is called Sunday Dinners. Sunday Dinners is a event that the community came together and would bring meals to our home, and we would divide them up and take them out into the community. It's also a nice event where everyone was able to go out and to serve and to spend time with those who needed or who enjoyed our meals. The Backpack Program is an event where we send food home for children who would not necessarily have something to eat when school doors are closed. In 2015, we started with 106 children in 3 schools. Currently, we are up to 763 children a week, servicing 19 schools. This is a great event because the community comes together to help ensure that these children have something to eat. Our next program is our Ladles of Love Soup Kitchen, which takes place every Wednesday night from 5 to 7. It's a great time. Again, the community comes together, we sit down and we have a meal, and we share good times. If anyone has any questions or would like to help in any way at any one of these events, we ask that you give us a call.
10 seconds.
Saturday from 10 to 3, and our number is 301-932-8555. Thank you.
And welcome back. We're here with Teddy the Taxman, who's been giving us some very, very important and hopefully money-saving advice on retirement plans and things to do for our kids. And for those that are following Facebook Live, if you have a question for Teddy, please put it on there, and I will look on there. But before we get to your questions, welcome back, Teddy.
Yes, sir.
And let's look at let's talk about the federal tax law. How does the new federal tax law affect the low, middle, high, business, whatever? How's this new federal tax law affecting people?
I really do believe that folk who are in the lower income ranges are going to benefit from the tax law, but that's not all. Those folk who are paying just a small amount of mortgage interest, they're going to benefit as well. But let me stop here and tell you why, especially for those folk who pay a small amount of mortgage interest. Now, what's called the standard deduction has doubled. So generally speaking, somebody who is paying, a joint couple, let's take a joint couple who is paying a small amount of mortgage interest, and when I say a small amount, in this case, maybe $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 in mortgage interest, probably won't even be able to itemize beginning in 2018. That's because the standard deduction, which, it's optional. You generally choose the standard deduction or your itemized deductions, whichever is higher, to get you the better tax break. So the reason why I'm talking about that, I'm explaining that, is because people will wonder next year. People who have always been itemizing and writing off that mortgage interest and the property taxes, they will find themselves not itemizing this year. Why? Because they're going to get a break. That standard deduction, like I said, is going to double. So the standard deduction for a couple now, I think it's up to $13,000, something like that, $14,000. So that's $14,000 that will get knocked off of their tax return, off of their income, and therefore lower their tax liability. Now, the folk in the upper income ranges, I don't see a whole lot of benefit in the tax law changes for them. But get this, Derrick, here is something that you have not heard yet. I promise you haven't heard this yet, and if you have heard any of it, it hasn't been a whole lot. But there are businesses that will get this, knock off 20% of their income before the tax is assessed.
Now, question, is this small businesses, or are we talking about these big billion-dollar businesses, which, in my opinion, shouldn't be benefiting? But, if anything, I would say a small business, but something like an Exxon, they shouldn't be getting enormous tax breaks. That's just my opinion.
But they will. They will get those tax breaks, and this is for every business out there. They'll get to lop off 20% of their income before the tax is assessed. And I hear where you're going on that. One of the frustrations is that the current administration promised us this big package. Oh, you'll be able to file your tax return on a postcard, and everybody's going to benefit. My disappointment with the changes is this. Okay, Derrick Terry got 2% lopped off of his tax liability. Teddy the Taxman, he got 2% lopped off his tax liability. Business
50% lopped off of their tax liability. How do you like that?
Wow.
How do you like that? Now, if the current administration had said that that was going to happen, okay, you know what? I can deal with it. I'm a fair person. Derrick, you've always known me as a fair person, right?
Yeah.
I am fair. So if that's the way you came at me and you said, well, this is what we're going to do for Joe taxpayer, and then this is what we're going to do for businesses. Yeah, I might have been upset when it first came out, but you told me in advance. You prepared me, and you were upfront. You were right up front with it. I can deal with that.
Yeah, and I think for me, part of my problem, and maybe some viewers' problem, is that own it, meaning that don't try to pull the okey doke, and that's from the federal side. So now we're looking at the state tax. How is any new state tax laws that are either for better or for worse that our viewers, and particularly our Maryland taxpayers, should be aware of?
Yeah, what happens is much of that is going to flow right down from the federal level. Just be cautious, because you know what happens every December. There are changes to the tax law. And that's why, Derrick, you have a lot of listeners who, if they think about it, they'll say, over the last few years, many times what has happened is we have been subjected to a late filing of our federal tax returns because the IRS has made changes. Well, the IRS makes changes in December, and Congress says these changes are what are necessary. Those changes are implemented, and you get this announcement in January saying, you can't get your federal refund, and I know you have a lot of listeners who can identify with this. You can't get your federal refund until after February 15th. February 15th. Now, is that a lot of time? Is that a big delay? Well, maybe not for some people, but I know some people who religiously file January 15th, January 22nd, the very, very next week, and they need their monies very, very quickly. So those few days, those matter of weeks, that's a substantial period of time to some people who really need their money. So let me go back. This is why I said this. That's why you hear that certain individuals cannot get their refunds before February 15th. Why? Because in December, they make these changes. And the Internal Revenue Service needs money, needs time enough to update their systems. So for all of our listeners who always wanted to know why there have been delays in the tax refund process early in the year over those last few years, that is the reason why. So you asked me about the state law changes. Those are still coming forward. But those are still coming forward because the federal changes are still coming forward. And they do have a lot to do one with another.
Well, there was also something, now that we're talking about tax refunds and I guess filing taxes, one thing that I did not know is that if I get a refund, that actually counts as income.
Yeah, okay.
I didn't even, and I was like, so let's say, I'm hypothetical, let's say I got a $12,000 refund. I'm thinking, wow, tax-free. No, that counts as $12,000, which means I'm going to get taxed on that for that year, right?
Yeah, okay. You have it partially right. What it is if you itemize, and that generates a state refund, you have to include that state refund on your tax return next year.
Okay. Now, another question. Now, how does a legitimate business, now I'll say legitimate because some people have some businesses aren't legitimate, but legitimate business help you as a taxpayer? Like, I'm not saying that, I'm saying like, say you have a catering business or, a barber business, whatever, but you have a full-time job.
Oh, I hear where you're going.
Yeah.
I hear where you're going with this. this is how I want our listeners to think. You don't want a business that's going to help you out tax-wise. Now watch it. After I say this, watch how practical this is. You don't want a business because it's going to help you out on your taxes. You want a business so that you can prosper. You don't want a business to have losses so that you can reduce the amount of income that you tax on and therefore reduce the amount of taxes you pay. You want to run a business so that you can prosper from that business, not for any other reason.
Okay.
And that's the way I want our listeners to start thinking, because a lot of them do think like that. And that's why I said you think for the masses, because a lot of people say that. A lot of people say, oh, you know what, I need to start a business because I need to lose some money and pay a lesser amount of tax. I'm going to ask you, here is the question of the day. When you were young, do you ever recall saying, well, I can't wait till I grow older so that I can make a little bit of money? Not one time has anyone ever uttered those words. No, that's what promotion is all about. You want to be promoted. You want to earn more income. You just have to be savvy with the tax part of it. So you're going to talk to your tax advisor even beforehand, before you get that raise, when you know it's coming, and say, how will this impact me?
Okay.
That's what it's all about.
All right, well, before I let you go and I go to my last break, what is, if there's one thing that you would want to tell viewers as it relates to anything dealing with, whether it's retirement, tax, whatever, what would you tell them?
Here's what I would tell them. A lot of people are going to chuckle when I say this because they can identify. When you leave your job, whether it's from retirement or whether you were downsized or whether you got another job at another place, do not leave your retirement at the old job. That's akin to walking out of your house and going on a mission and leaving your keys on the kitchen table. Never do that. Never do that. You always want to make sure that you roll it over. And then the next time we talk, I am going to give you some legitimate, viable options as to where you can roll them over. So that's one. Make sure you roll your 401k, 403b, 457, or whatever it is. Make sure you roll those over. That's two. Contribute to your 401k to the best of your ability. You're missing out on free money. For those of you, companies contribute to your 401k plans, as well as you contributing. You're getting free money. You don't have to do anything for it. So who would miss out on an opportunity like this? That's my question.
Well, you know what? I'm definitely looking forward to the November show, because I personally, when I've left an employer, and I was there 4 or 5, whatever years, I took all that money and rolled it over and made more money sitting in a mutual fund, or where I forgot how we set it up, than it would just sitting with the employer. So, Teddy, how can people get in contact with you?
Okay, you can call me. My phone number is 410-931-2004. I'll give it to you again. 410-931-2004. Or you can email me, Teddy at HuntValleyRetirements, with an S on it, .com. That's Teddy at HuntValleyRetirements.com. Lastly, find me on Facebook. I'm under Teddy the Taxman, and just submit a friend request. You can inbox me, message me and say, hey, look, I heard you giving advice on Derrick Terry's show, and I want to be a Facebook friend of yours. That's all you have to do.
Okay, well, Teddy, I definitely appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule. I know it was short notice, but this broadcast is replayed, so, most people doing what I should be doing right now, looking at football. But but they can look at this at any time. So once again, I do appreciate you calling in and giving some great advice, and look forward to some more follow-up in November.
Absolutely, Derrick. And you just keep on thinking for the masses.
All right, I definitely appreciate it. So we're going to go to the break. One last Light the Way promo. Y'all can pick any one. I just want to make sure that we put the message out for Light the Way Foundation, and be back right after this break. All right, welcome back. And as we wrap up the last part, actually the last of this particular segment, I want to thank those that had the opportunity to view it live. Like I said, it will be replayed, so even if you get a chance to see it live, just share. I want to thank once again Teddy the Taxman for coming on. Sort of the last minute, but things happen like that in the business, and you just improvise. You just, no sense of stressing over it. You just move on. So just to kind of wrap up or summarize what we talked about today, I complain a lot, but I provide solutions. You don't have to agree with them, but I always tell people it's military in me. If you're going to come to the table with a complaint, you better have a solution. Because if you don't, all you're doing is complaining. I'm not sure if y'all can close it up on this one, but this particular show is based off my book. I very rarely talk about my book because when I wrote this book, it was therapeutic. But this is how I was feeling. And it's called I'm Not Complaining, I'm Just Saying. It's the memoirs of the good and bad in education system. But there's more than just education to talk about and to complain about. But if when we have a masses that come together to bring about diversity when it comes to ideal and solutions, I think that we can always find a common ground. Whether we are talking about political black slates, if that's what you want to do, fine, but own it. If you want to do a political woman slate, that's fine, but own it. And what I mean by own it is don't go up here and say that, no, we're not doing it, when you know damn well you're doing it. Excuse my language if kids are watching. But you know you're doing it. Just own it. That's anything. That's really what anything that anyone can expect. It's just be an adult, be a man or woman, and just own it. And the same thing comes to our incumbents as well as our candidates. You want people to vote for you, but you don't want to be heard. Meaning that you want to be around your comfort zone. Well, guess what? If I didn't vote for you, you still work for me. So you need to listen and you need to hear. It's that simple. And when you don't open yourself up, then guess what? You're just mainly relying on your base. And to me, that's wrong. You work for everybody. So make sure you do your best to go to these forums, listen to people, and find out, what the issues are. And also the possible misuse, abuse of taxpayer funds. I've clearly stated it. If I'm wrong, I'll apologize. But I only go by what's written in the teacher's contract. And I find it highly unusual for any teacher that can work doing contract hours and make extra money. Because if that's the case, whole mess of teachers be taken off. Sick leave, without pay, whatever, just taking off, doing other gigs. So that's something to look into. And then lastly, social media unity groups. If you have a social media group and your main purpose is to bring about diversity, exchange of ideals, that's good. But if you're hypocritical in the way you deliver it, and you're upset that people have a different a view or opinion, then what's the point? You know, I don't know what you did in high school. Maybe you weren't that popular. I really don't know. But you're just an administrator of a group. It's, when you look at actuality, is it serving its purpose? So once again, I definitely thank everyone for chiming in today. I hope it's been informative, entertaining. But remember, if you're going to complain, bring some solutions. With that, see you in November. Peace and blessings. Hello, I'm Derrick Terry, host of I'm Not Complaining, I'm Just Saying. Here at one of my favorite spots, the barbershop, where we know if you're gonna complain here, then you better provide solutions. Good? It's good. I firmly believe when we make other people's problems part of our conversations without providing solutions or prayer, then we become part of the problem. I want to be able to provide people with a platform where they can freely express their views on such topics as education, social issues, health and fitness. Now that's good. Or sports. So please join me so we can complain and provide solutions together.